facility you use, whether it's a gymnasium or a I like to start with an exercise I call discovery. Begin this segment by asking the teenagers to give examples of racism. List their examples on a chalkboard if you're in a classroom, or newsprint that you might have set up on an easel stand like a flip chart. Whatever works for you. After putting together the list, go through one item at a time. This gets them thinking about the impact of racism right away, and also what does this impact have on our lives. Okay, it's important to get into boundaries soon into the How will the teenagers pair up? Get them in partners. If some Now repeat this process with the other group walking towards their partners. The second part to this is now tell one partner to walk. Then repeat this, but this time have that first person who was just smiling put an angry look on their face and walk quickly towards. The point you need to make to the teenagers is that boundaries are something. After this exercise, some people like to keep a lot of distance between themselves and other people. You see that sometimes when you're standing in line at the grocery store or at the MVA. You kind of keep a distance. Or at the post office, you never know. It's going to be different depending on where you are and what mood you're in, perhaps. So no matter how large or small our space, so just obvious answer is yes, but allow the teens the opportunity to discover why this is the case. In terms of cultural boundaries, based on my earlier definitions, there are a couple of really excellent exercises that you can do. Pass out pens or pencils and a one-page activity. On the sheet, it would be called Dealing with a Question of Cultural Boundaries. I'll let them read that. The main question being asked is, how do you respond to a question or comment like this? A lot of black people are into crime and drugs, aren't they? Now, the two statements you want the kids to write about are, one, I think this question is motivated by what? They should go ahead and fill in the blanks. And two, my response to this question would be what? Again, let them fill in the blanks and write about it. Give them some time to complete these statements while in their own space. And then you can strategically place them in small groups and ask them to share their responses. Encourage the group members to give their own examples of ways that people might cross their cultural boundaries and ways of responding to them. And then discuss this exercise with the entire group. Bring everyone together. It is important that the teenagers know that there are several ways that they can respond to what might be an insensitive statement or a potentially racist remark. But they could probably choose from four main options. One, they could make a joke about it, and we see that often. Secondly, they could avoid the question. Don't answer it. Totally blow it off and change the subject. Third, they could answer the question, but tell the person that the question is on the verge of being racist or is perhaps a stereotype. Teenagers need to learn to educate other people by giving them correct information, but also learn to explain to others that the questions make them feel uncomfortable or angry or hurt or sad, whatever the feeling is. And then fourth, if the teen thinks that the person's reason or motivation for asking the question is screwed up in the first place, they can refuse to answer and tell them that how the question makes them feel. Throughout the discussion,